Hey gamers, today we're going to review Eketorp. Let's check it out. Setup for the game, all you have to do is pick one of these 6 tribes and then you get their matching player shield there. Once you have that, you'll put your little player board behind your player shield. I'm not going to use the player shields here for the demo, but just kind of show you how it works. You're going to have your player shield out like this. You're going to have 5 of these little mighty Thor hammer tokens. And then of course you're going to have 8 Viking meeples. And they just look like Vikings there. And what you're going to do is each player is also going to pick where they want to start. They'll have this little name card here. And so this is my tribe, and let's say this right here will be my fort. And as you can see, there's spots for everyone to be placed. There's no strategic value on where you place your village. What you're going to be doing throughout the game is you're going to be trying to grab bricks to build a wall around your village. And you need at least 3 bricks on each of these stacks here, so it turns out to be 18 bricks to complete your village. And that's what you're trying to do here. And there is grass, wood, clay, and stone. Now, each of these bricks do also count as victory points at the end. Behind your player shield, they will tell you how many victory points you can get for them. Of course, how many tokens you have left over at the end of the game gets you a victory point. And if you complete your wall, it's an additional 5 victory points. What you're going to be doing every game is you're going to assign someone to be first player. Now, they don't have a first player token in this game, so I just got this little metal coin that I've had for a while. It looks nice. It looks like it has a Thor hammer there, and it says first player. So this is what we do to signify who is first, and that is kind of important in the game. I'll get to why in a minute. And what you're going to do is you're going to pick from these cards and you're going to reveal them, and you're going to put those colored bricks in those areas here on the board. Now you're going to do this twice and set up the board like so. You see I've already put out some bricks here just to show you. Now anytime of course it has 5 players or plus, of course you would only put out those extra bricks if you were playing with that many players. So once you do that, it's the start of a round, and what your goal is behind your player shield here, you're going to be laying out where you want your Vikings to go. Maybe I want a few in B, maybe I want some in D. Well, after everyone's done, you're going to reveal, remove the player shield, and you're going to place your Vikings out on the board. So I had 1 here, 2 in B, 1 in C, 3 in D, and let's say 1 in G, and that was mine. Now let's say the other players came out and they also put some people on the board here. Now looking at each one, starting with A and going all the way to G, we need to determine if there is a battle taking place or not. Here, there's no battle. Even though there are 2 people here, and let's say that there was a 4th one there would still be no battle. As long as there's enough bricks for every Viking to go home and take one, there's no battle. So yellow would take 2, orange would take 1, red would take 1. If that were the case. Over here, the same thing. On B, there's 3 Vikings, 3 bricks. Here in C, there would be a battle because there's 2 Vikings in 1 brick. Over here, there'd be a battle because there's 5 Vikings in 1 brick. Over here, no battle because there's only 1 Viking in 2 bricks, but he can only take 1 with him since he only sent 1 out there. Of course, F doesn't have a brick, so nothing happens there. And on E, I'm all by myself, so I can take that brick on G. How battles work are very simple. What you're going to do is each player at the beginning of the game is going to get 4 of these cards, and they range from 1 to 5. And what you're going to be doing is you're going to be playing 1 of these cards each against your opponent. So let's say red player played a 1. I think he's going to lose. Orange player played a 3. So in this case, the orange player would win. Red player goes and gets damaged. How many? Well, 3 minus 1 is 2. So I'd put him over here in the damage area, and as you see, this is where the Vikings go to recover. If the difference was a 2, then he would go right here. If it was 3, 4, and 5, he'd start back here. Now, if these 2 had tied, let's say they'd each thrown a 1 up, then they both get injured in battle, and they go to the 0 here. Now, what this does is this puts some Vikings out of play for the next couple of rounds, depending on how badly they are injured. Because every turn after this, you're going to slowly, let's say they're back here, you'd move them up each time after each round. So the worse they get injured, the longer they'd be out of the game. If it was a tie, they'd end up at 0, and they'd only have to stay out for 1 round. Once they get here on the next round, they'd go back to the respective players. But going back to our original battle here, we have 1-3. He's going to go over here and get injured. Orange would take this brick. But that's not all that happens. You have to switch cards. Orange player would now give this to to the red player, and the orange player would have to put this one, let's say this is where orange is at, they'd have to put this one down on the floor. That's going to be in their hand too. And you're going to, once you play all your cards, you're going to keep them up here until you get all 4 down. When you have, let's say, red player has 1, 2, and let's put this one down here, 3. He has 4 cards down there. He may take back up his cards and put them back into his hand. Now, if you look at my hand right here, let's say I won a lot of these battles, but that's not a very good hand. It's a bunch of 1s and 3s. I want 4, 5s, and 6s. Well, what you can do with these tokens, you can exchange one of these tokens in and pull out 4 new cards from the deck. And it's random, so whatever 4 I get, I'm stuck with for that next round. But of course, they could be more strong cards. Ooh, that's a 6. That's good. 5, 4. Okay, see, this is a much better hand. Now, of course, I'm going to lose 1 victory point at the end of the game for doing that, but I may be able to win more bricks and actually win the game and actually get more points this way. So it's up to you whether you want to take advantage of cashing in your tokens to get a new hand of cards. If not, then you're just going to go with the hand you are dealt or left with and continue on. Now on a tie, of course, if they're both tied, there's no sense in switching cards. It says to switch cards, but there's no sense in doing that. You can just keep the card and just place it on your player board. Now, what if we got into a situation where there were 3 different Vikings? And there's only 1 tile. You have a 3-way battle. How does that work? Well, starting with the first player, and that's why you need something. The coin doesn't come in the game, but you need something to dictate who's first player. And that's when the first player comes in handy, because the first player for that round, they get to choose who they want to do battle with. And then it goes second player, third player, until someone's eliminated. By then, you know, being third player, you're probably going to get screwed here if someone hits you first. If you don't defeat them, you may not have another turn. But you'll keep going round and round, starting with the first player. And of course, the last Viking left standing will of course get the brick. Now once you have all your bricks, you're going to bring them back to your little village here, and you're going to start stacking them up on top of each other, 3 per stack. And you don't have to stack them up like that. You can just move them around like that if you want to. And sometimes that's smart, because one of the other things you can do on your player board, and this usually happens after the second round, people can attack you. As you see, my tribe can attack any one of these villages, and there's 3 different ways on how to attack them. So if I was in the second round, let's say, and let's say one of my guys he's already injured there, and so maybe I want to send some more people out, but I also want to attack someone, and maybe I want to attack purple because I see purple got a lot that last turn. Now there's 3 ways I can move to attack them: catapult, ship, or battering ram. And it really does matter on where you're going to put that Viking, and you can put maybe 2 there if you want. Where you're going to attack their village really makes a difference, because as you see here on this map here, if you look at me, wherever they're at, they can only pillage, if they're successful in their attack, they can only pillage the 2 walls that are next to that item: catapult, ship, or battering ram. So over here, it makes no sense for me to place one on the ship, because the purple player has no bricks on the ship. The battering ram, he has 2 grass bricks, but look, that catapult would probably be best for me because he has wood, which is more expensive than grass. So maybe I put a guy on the catapult. Well, let's say I'm here. Now, let's say another player thought the same thing as me, says, I want to get that too. And he reveals that he was attacking that way. All right, well, what's going to happen here is very interesting, because let's say that another thing you can do on your player board is you can leave people in your village. You just place as many Vikings there as you want. You're going to have to start doing that after the first round, especially if you won a lot. If you have a lot of bricks, you're going to bet that there's going to be a lot of Vikings who'd rather pillage you than fight for some of the resources out here on the board, because pillaging could be easy for you. Let's say the purple player put 1 right here. Well, before the purple player has to defend against one of these Vikings, these 2 Vikings have to fight it out because they chose the same method of how to attack them. So attacking is very strategic too, because you don't know how the other players may attack. So maybe I do go for the battering ram because I know, man, a lot of people are going to want to attack him here because he's got this, and I don't want to fight another Viking before I attack him. Now, what if purple didn't have anyone at their village and it was left open. Well, purple would still have to play a card, but despite whatever the denomination is, it would be a 0 because they have no Vikings there to defend their village. So even if I played, let's say, a 6, well, that would be a 0, and they played a 1, they would always win, and I'd have to switch cards with them even after that. So you definitely want to make sure that you have people in your village to make sure it doesn't get plundered. Now, of course, you'll go like that and then go to the next round. Do the same thing, put out more resources, of course, take over, resolve battles here on the floor, and the first person to get their village completed, the game stops, and then we add up points. And then, of course, you're going to add up the number of bricks they have. If they got all cheap bricks and completed it, they may not beat someone who maybe got some of the more powerful bricks and maybe has some tokens left over. So even if you complete your village first, there is a chance you may not win the game just because of the value of the bricks that you used. And the person with the most points at the end of the game wins. And that's Eketorp. Final thoughts. What do I think about the game? Well, was I saying it right? I don't know. Don't care. I have not seen a review for this ever. I think I may be the first person to do one in English. I don't know. But anyway, it was Queen Games. It was $8 on Amazon, and I just had to try it. I don't have a Viking game. None of the Viking games reach out to me. This one does. This is a very simple game where basically you're just fighting over territory and trying to protect your own village while building up your walls. I think it's really ingenious, the gameplay for it. It's very simple, easy to understand. Not too complex, so if you're thinking this is going to be a heavy game, not really. It's a very light game, like a lot of Queen games are, but just like Queen Games, it's a very enjoyable game. And for the price it's going on Amazon right now, or as of this video, it's definitely a good deal to get. Like I said, there aren't many Viking games out there that I enjoy. Some of the big ones like Blood Rage, I don't get all the love for that game. This one's simple, easy. My nephews can play it. My board game group can play it. So it is definitely for me. For $8, you just can't beat all that great content, right? All right, gamers, that's all the time I have for now. Until next time, game on.